Connor is here. We're going to talk about what's going on around the league in the NFL. And we're also going to talk about this Chiefs game, obviously, because we're a Kansas City Chiefs podcast, like I said at the top of the show. So we're going to start off by talking about the Chiefs. Connor, what was your biggest takeaway from that game?
I think my biggest takeaway was the defense stepped up when they needed to. I wrote an article before the playoffs about how the defense was not playing at a championship level, and I was like, this would need to change in the playoffs. We'll see if they do it. And this was definitely a game where they needed to, and they did. So, especially on Cleveland's last drive, the Chiefs were only up 5, and the defense had to get a stop. I don't know if we really wanted Chad Henne to have to come from behind. So, but they stepped up. They actually made him. They made him punt, and they made him to where they couldn't even go for it on 4th down on a 4th and 9. So Chris Jones stepped up. Tyrann Mathieu stepped up. Travarius Ward had a good game. He stepped up a lot. And they made plays when it mattered, and that was a championship defense we saw on Sunday. So I think that was my biggest takeaway from it, other than the injuries and stuff. But
yeah, Patrick Mahomes' health is very important. That was a large takeaway from mine. Obviously, Chad Henne's, I wouldn't say a terrible quarterback. There are worse quarterbacks that start in the National Football League, I think, than Chad Henne. So I think that having Chad Henne back there with the Chiefs' supply of starters is not a terrible situation. So I'll say that. But before I say that, Patrick Mahomes makes this team just so much better. It just shows you the value of Patrick Mahomes and how, if you didn't know how Patrick Mahomes is a good football player already, now you know, I guess, because that's what he's been doing for a long time. But you're right, the defense was one of those things that was very impressive, and I think that the defense, stepping up and playing. I think I saw something from Colin Cowherd saying, "Well, this team showed me that hey, they can step up and they can play." And he finally said they can flip the switch, like Jordan, I think is who he compared him to. But
yeah,
but seeing the Chiefs being able to flip a switch was pretty exciting.
yeah, I saw you tweet about Colin Cowherd today, and and yeah, he kind of like rode the waves of how that happened, but
Yeah.
you could even tell on offense they flipped the switch too.
Mm-hmm.
They were surgical on those. They scored on every drive that Mahomes played in, I believe.
Yeah.
The first half they had 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals on their 4 drives. So and they looked efficient, dynamic, all of that. And you just hope Mahomes is back to do that again against Buffalo.
Yeah, speaking of hoping Mahomes is back, we did get some updates on Monday about Mahomes' health. There was lots of reports going around there, and Andy Reid's press conference, he didn't really confirm nor deny anything. He kept saying that, he wouldn't commit to being a concussion. He just kept saying he was in the protocol. He didn't call it concussion protocol, wouldn't say the word concussion. He just kept saying the protocol. So I thought that was very interesting. And they kept trying to bait him into saying concussion. Like, was it a concussion? No, the team has never officially said it was a concussion. When he went out, they said it was a head injury. They didn't say it was a concussion. So I think that is very interesting that that's the whole thing's being brought up. And Carrington Harrison made an interesting tweet today as a report. He had said, a source tells me Patrick passed all of his tests last night. He didn't actually hit his head. There was a nerve in his neck that got tweaked that made him out of it. He's getting testing done on his neck/nerve today, but did clear all tests last night, which is a very interesting scenario. And I think sets up probably a good chance that Patrick Mahomes can play, barring, all the tests he has to pass.
Yeah, I still saw Reed say he was in the concussion protocol. Not that it was a concussion per se, but that he was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that still means he has to go through the 5 steps of the concussion protocol.
Right.
But I think if you're going to pick one player to do it, it would be the quarterback. And of course, we know Mahomes knows the offense like the back of his hand. It's hard to say how many reps he'll really need in the week and how much that would impact the game. I think the 4th step includes on the field non-contact practice. And the quarterbacks never contact anyway. So
Right.
we'll see how that goes over the week. I don't really think anybody really knows
Yeah.
exactly how it goes. So
Yeah. I think that's fair. And, he did get obviously tested for a concussion because of just the nature of the hit and everything and him staggering to get up.
Right.
But, they're just doing more tests trying to figure things out. But there's a lot of cautious optimism from inside the organization that the Chiefs are going to have Patrick Mahomes back for this AFC championship game.